If you've seen the movie The Social Network, you no doubt remember the scene where Zuckerberg admits to stealing the idea from the Winklevoss twins. And that one scene alone has caused thousands of would-be software entrepreneurs to ask the question, what if someone steals my idea like Zuckerberg did the Winklevoss twins? And it's a valid question because there's a small possibility that, yes, you could hire a developer to build your idea so they could steal it and launch it before you do and become a billionaire. There's a strong possibility that could actually happen. But to prevent that from happening, you could do one of three things. And we're going to go down through each one of these. Number one is don't build it. Don't build it. Just write it down on a piece of paper and lock it away in a safe so no one ever sees it or steals it. Now, most people are not going to take that word of advice because it's not very exciting. Number two, you could sign an NDA called a non-disclosure agreement. Now, you could have the developer sign the NDA, which only really gives you the ability to sue them if they steal it. Now, a word of warning, this immediately creates an environment of mistrust. So already you've started out, you've hired this developer, and already it's kind of like this. It's kind of like a prenuptial agreement and getting married. It's kind of like, well, I do trust you, but if you steal this, I really don't trust you. So it creates this weird kind of environment right off the bat. Now, this is also assuming that you are trying to protect more than idea. Maybe you have sensitive customer data. Maybe you have private documents that can't be shared. You're trying to enforce this NDA on just an idea will be very difficult in court. So what does this cost to actually pull this off? So to pull off, you're going to need to pay an attorney probably anywhere from $1,000 to $2,000 to get a watertight NDA, right? Now, if the developer breaks this NDA, you're going to be paying anywhere from another $5,000 to $10,000 in court costs, taking this developer to court because now you got to sue them. And the process is likely to take months, right? So this is going to happen overnight. If you win, fantastic. You hit the jackpot like the Winklevoss twins. If you lose, you end up paying for all your legal fees. So all of this plus all of their legal fees, all the developers' legal fees, all to protect an idea that has yet to be acted or executed upon. Now, the third one, software patent. So this is where you go to the patent office and you write up a patent to protect your software idea. Now, according to the the AIPLA. I'm not a lawyer, so I don't really know what that means. I looked it up and it said American Intellectual Property Law Association. The typical software patent costs between $8,000 and $12,000. Right? So just to get the patent written up, if you've never done this before, you probably know what you're doing. So you want to get a lawyer to make sure they can write you up the software patent. And after you file, you're probably going to get rejected. In fact, they say the AIPLA says that you'll probably get rejected about 4 times. And each one of those times, you're going to have to file a response. Each time is about $4,000 to file a response to that. And they said the average rejection is somewhere near 4.2 rejections per patent application. So that's basically so that's $16,000 that you're up to already. Now, actually, no, that's even more because you're just saying times 4 here. So you're up to $32,000. So you're in pretty deep already, and you have yet to even know that if it's going to be approved or whatever. So now you're up to around $32,000, and it takes an average of 22 months to get this patent through the whole process to get it approved. Once you finally then get it approved, you're going to need to pay a patent lawyer. So if you get the patent and then someone steals that idea or steals that patent or steals the software structure or whatever you patented, Now you're going to have to pay a patent lawyer to prosecute that case in court. And according to the AIPLA, again, prosecuting a payment or a patent infringement costs an average of $60K. So now you're up to $60K and can be tied up in courts for months, if not years. So if you're going to take any one of these routes, be prepared. These are the worst money signs in the world. Be prepared to write giant checks. And I've heard this question, how do I protect my idea, so many times. And it's not a bad question. It's completely understandable. But in the 20 years that I've been building software, designing software, consulting with companies, and working with others that have built software for hundreds of millions of people, I have never actually heard once about a software idea being stolen and then turned into a $1 billion company. Now, if you're still concerned that could happen to you, there is one way that you can truly protect yourself from competition. It's simple, but if you embrace this idea and get really good at it, you're going to be bulletproof. And that concept is understand your customers better than anybody, any of your competition, anybody on the planet. And if you think about it like an iceberg, so we have a little waves here, a little bit of water here, and you have the iceberg here. When you see the iceberg, you're only seeing about 1%. 1% of the total iceberg is sitting here. And that's your app. So once you launch, everyone can see it anyway. So they're only seeing about 1% of the total mass of your app, the total intellectual property, the total knowledge, the total domain expertise that you have. And so, but what they can't see is this giant thing down here, and it's probably not even big enough. I need to draw it even bigger, is the deep understanding of your customer. This is what they don't do. This is what they can't see by looking up here. That's because you understand your customers' pains. You understand their problems, their frustration, their desires, their dreams, their hopes. All of that goes in here, which they can't see. So by the time someone copies this part, you've already improved the app 100 different ways based on the feedback that you've received. They aren't seeing that. They aren't seeing all this feedback. And look at Uber. You could rip off the idea for Uber and say, oh, I just need an app that has a map where I tell drivers where to pick me up. But the funny thing is, by the time you've copied that idea, Uber had already launched things like Uber Quiet Mode, where you basically telling the driver to stop talking, which my dad is an Uber driver and he talks so much. And I was like, Dad, when they launched that, you can't talk to people. He was like, oh man, I just want to talk to people. But Uber self-driving cars, Uber helicopters, Uber Comfort, Uber Eats, Uber vouchers, nonstop innovation based on feedback from their customers that you can't see by looking at the app. You can't see by looking at the top of the iceberg. All of that innovation happened down here. Now, if you understand how your customers' needs are shifting and what they really want, you'll always be one step ahead of anybody trying to steal your idea. They'll always be stealing the top of your iceberg and you'll be laughing the whole way. If you want to learn how to find your customers' pains, problems, frustration, dreams, desires, and hopes by searching for online confessions, I go into detail into this into the video that I just launched on Monday in the comments. I'll link to it. You can go in there and understand, well, how do I do that, Jack? How do I pull it off? How do I understand how to build the bottom of my iceberg so that when someone tries to steal the top up here, that they can't, because by that time I'm already out innovating them the whole way and I'm laughing at them.